Hey y'all, I am going to be working on my third layout for the Collection Obsession series, and I am using Pink Fresh's Life Right Now collection, and this will be number 3. So for this layout, I thought I would pull out this Elizabeth Craft Designs Planner Essential Die, and it is 1807 Planner Essentials 32 Viewmaster. I love a Viewmaster. Die cut, die, ephemera, I love them. So I had seen Dorothy over at Scrapbooking Quebec use a lot of these Elizabeth Craft Designs dies, and I just love them all. And when I went to the expo with Scylla in July, there was a vendor who was selling them, and I wish I could have bought them all. If I had an unlimited supply of crafting money, I would have bought them all. But this was one that I had really been looking at on Amazon, and so I bought it. So I want to use this die on my layout. I thought it would be a perfect fit with my photos, because the photos I'm going to use, I printed this one out first, and I just didn't care for the coloring. And this is actually on Epson paper. I use a PM400, but this is inside of International Airport. We're sitting up against a, glass window, obviously, so you've got all that natural light behind you. But and I thought about using this photo of the incoming flights, and my cousin's flight was on here, is on here. It's the Lufthansa one. So I thought it might be cool to put that on there, just to give future generations, if my scrapbook pages last that long, an idea of what a flight board looks like for incoming flights, because those are things that we don't really think about right now, but it's pretty cool when you look back at older photos. Let me grab a layout and I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, I had to go through a stack of layouts that I need to put away, and then I got to looking at all my layouts going, oh, I love that one. I love that one. I love that one. That now I'm like, what was it that I wanted to talk about? And I believe I was talking about getting photos of things that don't really seem a big part of the story or important today, because it's normal for us, but 20, 30 years from 40 years from now, it's not going to be normal. It's going to be totally different. So that's why I captured a picture of this flight board, and then here you can see a little bit outside of the airport, because this was a layout I did, I believe, last year. And this is well, it's the same airport, but look at the difference. Now I would have loved to seen what the flight board back then would look like, but the airport looks nothing like this now. This is the airport in Atlanta, and now they have a whole separate part of the airport that's in a different location for the international flights, because they all used to come into one. But it's just kind of cool, because this is probably back in the 70s, and I've talked about it before, but look, there is a payphone on the wall with the phone books, and my granddaughter, who is going to be 6 next month, hard to believe, she's never seen a phone hooked up to a wall. So it's just kind of cool to purposely capture some of that stuff and not to cut everything out of the background, but to leave some of that in there. So, my photos. Okay, I ran out of photo paper. And I just wanted to do a little comparison because these shots were taken at the same time. Now, this is on Epson photo paper, and it is not glossy. This is on a pack. I just opened it up, and it's called HP Advanced. And I don't know where I just put the box, but I got it from Sam's Club. They have a big box of 4x6, and I'm looking around for it. I may have not even brought it in here. 4x6 photo paper, so this is more glossier, but I think the coloring on it's a little bit better, because one thing I don't do is edit my photos other than maybe cropping them down or resizing them, because that's just a whole nother ball of wax that I don't want to get involved in. It's time consuming. I don't even do the auto adjust. It's just, it is what it is, and I don't like that saying, but it is what it is. So but I think what I'm going to end up doing is using these two photos, cut them down a little bit. And this is going to be a scrap lift from Becky Adams, because I saw where she used a Viewmaster in a recent layout, and I thought, I can do that. So let somebody else do that hard work for me, and I will just do the part that I enjoy. But I do think I'm going to use this paper, the, what's it called, Perfectly Imperfect, for my background, and you know, as a border around this white, because I'm going to have strips of different patterns. So I don't want to put strips of different patterns on a pattern paper. I want it on a white background. So that is what my plan is, because when I initially saw this paper, I thought I would use this side before I would use this side. But the gold color to me is kind of hard to match, and I don't think it really goes great with mine or my family's skin tone. So I'm going to opt for these arrows instead, and when I come back, I should have my completed layout. Okay, so here is my finished layout, and I use this arrow paper as my background. I did gut it, and for my second layer of my background, I just took a piece of wide cardstock and just did some wider back stitching on it. And one little idea, if you're using multiple layers of paper and your stitching is on one of the upper layers, you can always do your stitching first and then apply it to the other piece of paper versus piercing through both layers. That way the back side of your layout is just a little bit cleaner, and you have less pieces of paper that you have to go through. So then I added, from the 6x6 paper pad, I added these layers of striped paper, and instead of stitching on them, I used some old K & Company rub-ons. They call them transfers to go, and I never even used these, and they don't even have a date on them. So they are pretty elderly, but they went on pretty good. So I just did some of the colors here on every other pattern paper. I don't know if you can see it from that far away, because my the transfer is pretty small. I love this Elizabeth Crafts die. It is large, but I love it. And it worked great with these two photos because I have it peeking up at the top and out of the side. So I cut that out and added that next. Added my two photos. And then pulled some embellishments from my other Pink Fresh collections, because as I said before, I didn't buy any of the embellishments that goes with the Life Right Now because I had so many Pink Fresh embellishments from their box sales. And so then I just added a couple of enamel dots. So I have 3 spots of 3 circles. I tucked a tag right here and put some floss on it that I used for the same stitching here. Now I did pull washi tape, and I don't know who this is from, because in my organization I've discovered, for somebody that doesn't use a lot of washi tape, I have a lot of washi tape, so I need to start using it. So I just put a strip down here and then took a piece of the paper I used to make this Viewmaster and just tore it and added it there. My title is Waiting, and then I did put an arrow, a black arrow. This was not from Pink Fresh, to the flight that we were waiting on. And my journaling is going to go here in strips. And basically my story is going to be how we waited and we waited and we waited on my cousin and her boyfriend, because they had to go, they came in through the international terminal. They had a direct flight, so they had to go through customs. And I think she said there was 2 or 3 people working back in customs for all the international flights incoming, and the lines were long. My cousin's very patient and sweet, and she just said she felt so sorry for the people back there that had small babies, and people were missing their connecting flights because they couldn't get through customs in enough time. I know we waited at least 4 hours, if not more, for them to get through customs. And I felt really bad for them because they had just sat on a flight from Europe, a long flight, and then they had to stand in line at customs. So that is going to be my journaling for this layout, and I think this is going to be my last layout using this collection for now, because I was struggling to find some inspiration. I had some photos I thought I could use, and I just wasn't happy with it. And then I watched Scylla over at Choice Bits of Bliss, and she said it's okay to give yourself permission to be done with something. So I am giving myself permission to not do the 4 layouts that I had planned, because it would have been a chore. It wouldn't have been an enjoyment. So that is my last layout for using the Life Right Now Pink Fresh collection, and we'll see you next time. Bye.